My husband's ex-wife acts like she is still his wife. I decided to teach her what being divorced actually meant. My husband Robert's ex-wife Diana still acted like she was married to him even though they'd been divorced for 3 years before I met him. She had a key to his house that she refused to return and would let herself in whenever she wanted. She'd rearrange his furniture, do his laundry, and stock his fridge with food she thought he should eat. When Robert and I got married in January, Diana showed up to the ceremony wearing a white dress and sat in the front row where the mother of the groom should sit. She told everyone she was there to support Robert during this difficult transition and that she'd always be his first and real wife. She actually stood up during the ceremony when the officiant asked if anyone objected and said she just wanted to remind Robert that their vows were forever, even if the law said otherwise. Robert told her to sit down and be quiet, but she spent the rest of the ceremony crying loudly and telling people around her about their wedding 15 years ago. At our reception, Diana gave a speech no one asked for about how she'd shaped Robert into the man he was today, and I should be grateful for all her hard work preparing him for me. She said she'd always be part of his life and hoped I understood that some bonds couldn't be broken by paperwork. She actually thanked me for taking care of her husband temporarily while she focused on herself. I was too shocked to respond, and Robert just looked embarrassed but didn't stop her from talking. The day after we got back from our honeymoon, Diana was in our kitchen making breakfast. She said she knew Robert liked eggs over easy on Sundays, and I probably didn't know that yet. She'd used her key while we were gone to clean the house and had thrown away all my things that she deemed inappropriate for Robert's home. She said Robert had specific standards that she'd maintained for 15 years, and she'd help me learn them. When I told her to leave immediately and give me her key, she laughed and said Robert had given her that key, and only he could ask for it back. Robert came downstairs, and instead of demanding the key, he just asked Diana to call before coming over next time. She said she'd been coming over for 3 years without calling and didn't see why that should change just because I live there now. Robert actually told me that Diana meant well and was just having trouble adjusting to the changes. Diana started showing up every morning to make Robert lunch for work because she said he'd never eaten properly without her guidance. She'd walk into our bedroom while we were still in bed to ask what he wanted for dinner. She told everyone in the neighborhood that she was training me to take care of Robert properly since being his wife was a full-time job that required experience. She even called herself to our mail as Diana Wheeler Roberts, even though she'd legally gone back to her maiden name Jameson after the divorce. When packages arrived for Mrs. Roberts, she'd claim them saying she was the original Mrs. Roberts and always would be. She joined our gym and scheduled her workouts for the same time as Roberts, saying they'd been workout partners for years and divorce didn't change that. She'd follow us to restaurants and get a table nearby to supervise our dates, life partner, and I was just the current legal wife. She'd send food to our table that she'd ordered because she knew what Robert really wanted better than he did. The breaking point came when Diana threw herself a 15th anniversary party for her and Robert's defunct marriage. She sent invitations to all their old friends saying she was celebrating their enduring bond that transcended legal status. She'd rented a venue and hired a band and expected Robert to attend as her date. She told me I could come as a guest if I wanted to see how real marriages were celebrated. That's when I decided Diana needed to learn what being divorced actually meant. I started by changing all the locks on our house and installing a security system that would alert police if she tried to enter. When Diana showed up with her key the next morning, she couldn't get in and had to stand outside ringing the doorbell. I answered in my robe and told her Robert was busy with his wife and she'd need to make an appointment if she wanted to see him. I then called every vendor for her anniversary party and canceled everything, explaining that Diana was confused and thought she was still married to my husband. The venue was sympathetic and refunded her deposit to Robert since she'd used his credit card without permission. The band was horrified to learn they'd been hired for a divorced woman's fake anniversary and agreed to cancel. I sent messages to everyone invited explaining that Diana was having difficulty accepting the divorce and we were concerned about her mental state. Next, I went to the gym and changed Robert's membership to a different location, telling them his ex-wife was stalking him. They banned Diana from all their facilities for harassment. I did the same at every restaurant we frequented, explaining that his ex-wife was following us and disrupting our meals. They all put her photo on their do not serve lists. The real consequence came when I contacted Diana's boyfriend that she'd been dating for 6 months. Full story on channel, link below.